Hi, ladies. I'm Tanya, and I've been through a divorce. And I've been asked, what can I expect when I go through a divorce? So, I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts about what divorce is and how we can go through this process so that we can be successful and end up feeling healthy and happy and creating a new life. So, what is divorce? What can you expect? Well, one thing you can expect is it's challenging. Divorce will challenge you on a level that perhaps you've never been challenged before. And for sure, you're going to need more strength and more power to get you through this period of time. I believe that divorce is very dark. There's a lot of dark aspects to divorce, and one of the things is we want to get through that darkness as fast as we can and get into the light. So the goal of your divorce is to pass through the darkness and get over into the light as quickly as possible. And one of the ways I see this happening is we make divorce into a personal spiritual journey. A spiritual journey is what has helped me to get through my divorce, to focus on, oh, this is just a journey that I'm on and I am going to get through it. So considering your divorce as your own personal spiritual journey can be really helpful, because if we look at all of the words, these are the definitions that we find when we look up divorce. We find separate, disunite, split, detach, isolate, cut off, sever, and divide. These all scream, ouch, right? This hurts. This process is painful. We will feel all of these things throughout the divorce, off and on. And the goal is not to just, we want to move through this fast, but we have to do it in a wise way. And what I believe is what we're looking for is unity. We want that unity. Again, separation is we're disunited. So what we need to do is we unite, we look at how do we unite ourselves? Because now, by the way, we're kind of alone for a while, for a period of time. We have to be dependent on ourselves. So we're trying to unite. What can we unite within ourselves to make us more complete, feel complete and whole again? And what we're uniting is our body, our soul, and our spirit. This is what makes us a human being, and we need to learn how to approach our spiritual journey, our journey into healing and health and happiness, as I'm going to bring all parts of myself and I'm going to unite them, and I'm going to feel complete and whole again. And my journey, one of the things that helped me the most was to connect to God's Spirit. And God's Spirit lives right within us. So we're learning how to become whole, like right within ourselves. So God's Spirit is known as a higher power. So this will give us this power and the strength that we need to face all these challenges in our divorce. So one thing that I ended up doing in my divorce is I went and I was feeling so anxiety ridden that I started seeking God's Spirit in a Christ-centered meditation and prayer practice. And that practice really helped me to make that connection and to bring all of those parts of myself together, like my body, soul, and my spirit all kind of came together, and I really felt more powerful. So one of the things about divorce that you really need to understand and acknowledge is there's a lot about the divorce practice that is unknown and unpredictable. When you go through a divorce, you just cannot predict how your ex-husband is going to act, how your children are going to be affected. You can't assume somebody's going to be nice or stay your friend even. There's a lot of this unknown area. What are your finances going to look like? Where are you going to live? And this unknown can be very overwhelming. So one of the things that's very helpful is focusing and grounding in the things that are known, the things that are predictable. And one of the things that's predictable that you can rely on is that God loves you and God wants the best for you. He wants to provide you with a new life. He wants to provide you with that power. He wants to give you peace. He's making all the plans for your future. So it's predictable that God is there for you. You can rely on that. So another thing that is predictable, however, is that you will experience increased fear and you will experience increased levels of responsibility. Now, fear or anxiety can either really distract you and you can get stuck in feeling so fearful, or you can use the energy that fear actually gives us, some energy, because fear releases these hormones in our body that causes us to fight or fight. And one of the things we can use with that energy of fear, we need to listen to that energy of fear, not get stuck here, but we need to acknowledge, and this is the hard part about divorce that we don't see, very unpredictable, is an increase in responsibility. In almost every area of your life, you will have increase in responsibility. And responsibility is, the root word is to respond. So we're learning in our divorce how to respond in a wise way, not in a fearful way or not in a weak way. But it's really important to know that in all these areas, your finances, our children, we don't know how much trauma they're going to suffer. Our relationships change. Our old relationships change, and we have new relationships. So this area is changing. We have to take responsibility for our stuff. It can be material stuff like our house and our car, and now we have responsibilities for cleaning and moving. We have responsibilities in our insurance, medical insurance and dental insurance. We have to get that for ourselves. And our career, and also our calling, the thing that God calls us to do, some creative project that we do. So these things can change. And then we have this whole area down here of our health, our personal health, our physical health, our body, our psychological health, our mind and our emotions, and our spiritual health. All of these areas all of a sudden will be changing. It's like a wheel, and we can not really see through all of the fear and the unknown that we have some grounding to do. We need to get on to doing some of our responsibilities, and the good news is God gives us Christ to live in our heart, and Christ is the wisdom of God. So God gives us wisdom. And when we can learn how to turn to that wisdom all the time, it overcomes the fear. It helps you to make clear decisions so that you can get your life in order. And this process can take 1 to 2 years. For some of you, it might be quicker, and hopefully it's not longer because you do want to get on with your life, but it's important to recognize that for a while you're in this place, increased fear, increased unknown, trying to recreate your life. You have a lot of responsibilities, so it's okay to raise your hand and say, help, I need help. And there's people out there who specialize in divorce, coaches and therapists, and probably best not to turn to family and friends all too often because they don't have the professional ability to help you. So seek support and know that God and Christ is also known as the helper. So when we are going through this situation, we can turn to God in His love and His wisdom, and that alone is going to help you so much. Let me just tell a personal story real quickly. I didn't heed my own advice when I was coming out of my divorce because I didn't realize it. And I had this wheel of mine and it was spinning. Everything was up in the air. All of this was not grounded and in place. And I thought, well, I'm going to go on and date. Well, guess what? I met a guy, perfect Christian man, and his wheel, he had just gone through a divorce, was spinning too. And we came together and his wheel was spinning, my wheel was spinning, and it was a big mess. So just realize that things go better when you have some of these areas of your life taken care of. So the next area that I really focused on is my spiritual health. And the spiritual health, if we can focus on, like Jesus said, focus on God first, and everything else falls into place. Well, that's our spiritual health. If we can focus on our spiritual health, this increases our ability to heal. So I really invite you to make your spiritual health a priority. It will really have such an impact on how gracefully you can go through your divorce. So we have different areas of health. I'm a registered dietitian, and I spent years focused on the body and our physical health. And what I realized during my divorce is our psychological health, this whole area, our soul, gets very stimulated during trauma, so which divorce is a big trauma. Our soul is our mind, all of our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, and our will, our free will, or our desires, what we want out of life. This whole area gets very triggered. Your mind is going to be very active, your feelings will be very active, and your wants and things that you want and don't want are going to really also become very prominent. So one of the goals that you can do is we don't focus so much on the body, we don't focus so much on the soul. We really, once again, come over here and focus on our inner spirit, that's at the core of our being, where peace is located, where power is located. And when we connect our spirit to God's spirit, then we bring in these qualities and characteristics and virtues of God that really help us to take care of our soul. And when we're in this, in God's spirit, He gives us more energy to be in our body and to love our body and to use our body. So once again, if we can take our spirit and focus on our spiritual health during divorce, we can increase right inside of us love, kindness, even joy. During our divorce, we can experience joy, patience, which we need, and goodness, which we're going to be creating more of when we have a connection to God's Spirit. And God's Spirit is truth and light. And these two things, truth and light, they create such a stability inside of our body, such a level of peace, and a real incredible level of power that I had never experienced. As a matter of fact, before my divorce, I really wasn't that strong. But because of my divorce, I've actually become really, really strong. So this will help you to feel focusing on that connection that God has and all these virtues that He's bringing to you. You will just not feel so alone. You're going to feel united, and you feel united with the one that brings new life. So I never really have to feel alone, no matter where I am or what circumstance I'm in, because I have that real deep relationship, intimate relationship with God now in my heart. So divorce to me it's a healing journey. We are going from being broken to being whole. And we're going from old ways, the old, to new. And if we can focus and believe on the promises that we are promised in the Bible, we will be exploring our wounds. We will feel wounded. We will be stuck in our patterns, our old patterns for a while, the same way we were reacting with our husbands and our children, and our patterns start to really come right in front of us, and we can take a look at them and say, like, hey, I don't want that pattern anymore. It's a chance to have new ways of being. We experience divorce. It's a death. It's painful. We will be grieving. There will be a lot of loss, and we might just be unaware of all these Bible promises, the promises of God, because we're kind of shrouded in this darkness and this feeling of death. So we become aware, almost like we're being born again, into this new life. We get a new life. The Bible promises that when we're born again, or when we go through a divorce or a death, we will become ourselves a new creation. Especially when, if I invite you to just try bringing Jesus into your heart. He promises to make your heart a whole new heart. You get a whole new heart. You are a new creation. So we become a new creation. Our patterns that are causing us to feel broken and stay broken, we can change. We can go into our heart center where this power is located, and we can begin to actually function from here just so much more, just like Jesus did on his walk. He was functioning from his heart center. He was forgiving, and he was non-judgmental, and he was compassionate, and we begin to become like that as well. During divorce, as these things are dying, we are born into like a new purpose, an actual new divine destiny that we can see, we can feel, we can become. So in my life, my life's completely changed, and I have a whole different destiny, and I'm walking towards a higher destiny out of the wilderness into the promised land. And it feels great to be walking towards your destiny, out of the death and darkness, walk towards the destiny. And as we do that, we can become an example of God's love. Part of the divorce journey is learning self-love and learning that God's love is right inside of us. And if we can tap into his love grows and it's perfected in us, and it makes us become more loving people. And initially, we're going to have to take that love and we're going to have to put it right on ourselves. It's not selfish. It's not, it's critical. That's self-love towards yourself, and you becoming an example of God's love, and your children will see that, even your ex might see that, and it enlightens the whole situation. It makes the situation better for everyone as you become an example of God's love. And so divorce can be a journey where we're moving from this darkness to light, and we become more awakened. We're awake and aware of the power that we have right inside of us. We become enlightened. We have this light of Christ that helps us go from darkness to light and helps us to become peacemakers. His light shining from us can help other people as well. So what we realize, what we're awakened and enlightened to, is we're co-creating. We are co-creators with God. So we're really powerful, and we really can begin to believe this when we're going through our divorce, that we're just so powerful. Well, one of the things that I invite you to really look at or analyze in your life is we can create goodness and we can create negativity, and we have a choice. Doesn't seem like it all the time, but you'll see this truth become a reality the more you practice God's ways inside of yourself. We want to create more power and more goodness for ourselves and our children and people around us. And the ultimate goal for me has been to become a wise woman. So this is the ultimate destiny, becoming a woman who stands in strength and dignity and can kind of laugh about the future, because we have God working with us, and we see that happening throughout our divorce, and this establishes this unshakable faith and trust in God and in ourselves. This journey will help us to trust ourselves, and then we can face anything that comes to us in the future. So I ask you, What does your divine destiny look like for your divorce? You realize that you have the power to create this for yourself. So I hope this information was helpful. I'm Tanya. My company, I'm the founder of Ya Light. It's about igniting the light within your heart. And I just want to say thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you again. Go in grace and go with grace. Thanks so much.